Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it's almost the last day of the year here, uh, and I'm kind of trying to wrap up some stuff, see how I did this year. Off a little bit this year overall, actually. I had a great 2020 and 2021. Some of my accounts up, some of my accounts down, but basically, oh, wait a minute. I have a, oh, wait a minute. I got to turn off this. There we go. I had my speaker uh, in there, and that's probably not the right thing to have here. So, anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into the slides. Thank you very much. Well, let's basically, stock market is up across the board. I have two positions that are bear positions that are down, but I did initiate a new position. It's a bull spread. It's a bull credit spread for a bull put credit put credit spread on Metaverse. And I didn't have the time to get the slides done, but I'm gonna probably try to put that out to everybody that's on the Action Trade Alerts. Probably try to write a little letter tonight and get it out to everybody that's on that. So just wanted to show you the Dow Jones is up, the S&P is up, the Nasdaq is up, and we did pull back a little bit on Tesla, of course. I'm back into the Tesla bull mode, so I'm trying to bulk up my position. My entry point was about 1,085. It's down to about 1,070, so it's down a little bit, but hopefully it's gonna shake off this news of the recall, and next year I think you're going to see some really good numbers from Tesla, just because it has a full order book, and a lot of stuff are happening, and we will see what's going on into the new year. The market's still in a confirmed uptrend, so I'm still trying to get stuff possibly to move into. Still very, very light on my stocks. Basically, I have Invitation Homes, of course Tesla, and then I have a little bit of a semiconductor company that went up today. But that's about it. Very, very light in terms, mostly in cash. I do have some of these options trades that I'll share with you in just a second. So basically, we've got Invitation Homes. It's basically even. I mean, it down 1 cent. That's basically even. Tesla, of course, it's down a little bit today. Closed at 1070. My average price in there was about 1085. Now I do have a stop loss in there at about 980. So just if you want to write that down. I'm also in Allegro Microsystems. It was up today. About up 1.3% on very light volume. This is the end of the year. There's not a lot of volume going on right now in the market, but this one was up. That's basically all the three stocks that I have long. Kind of amazing. Now I do have two spreads that I kind of want to show you. One, of course, is Zoom. Now Zoom zoomed up today, and it went against the where I was looking at. It moved up today significantly. I hope that it'll pull back. If it doesn't, what we'll probably do is we'll just extend this. We'll just extend the spread out a little bit, because the overall trend of Zoom is down. So, we may have to adjust on this one. I want to be kind of upfront about this. We may have to adjust on this spread, but I'll basically indicate that to pretty much everybody out there. What we're doing, if we're going to adjust and that kind of thing. And let's see, the next one we have, of course, is Square. That's up today, but it was down so far that I think we're in pretty good shape there. We're probably just going to hold this for a while and see how it does. This is also a bear spread, and it's looking pretty good on this one still. I think we'll get a bounce, and I think it will move lower overall, but we probably won't be adjusting this one. But on the Zoom one, we have a potential that we may want to adjust that spread. So that's just kind of a FYI for everybody there. So without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. Thank you so much for waiting, and I hope everybody is going to have a great going to have a great New Year's coming up. I may be on tomorrow or not. I'm not sure. Just depends on kind of what's everything's going on. Question on Roblox. Let's look at Roblox. RBLX. RBLX. And let's get that up here and put that up. And let's see kind of what's going on with Roblox. I've drawn the reversal line in here. Currently, it's basically at 100 right now. I kind of want to look at the sort of the short-term chart on Roblox. I'm still not really looking that good. As you can see, we have a downward trend, and this is something that I really, and this we're looking at the 10-minute chart here. So, kind of a downward trend. I haven't been in Roblox for a while. It's still, it moved above this buy point at 103, and then it basically round tripped it all, and it gave it all back. Now, we're sort of coming back possibly into a buy zone. So this should be on your ready list. I wouldn't buy this one right now, but I going on putting this on the watch list, not a bad idea, because we make it an opportunity, another entry opportunity on this. Let's look at some technicals on that. We were up today $3, 3%, excuse me. But as you can see, we're off for the month, about down 22%, and up for the year, up for the quarter. So this has just been extremely volatile. Basically, since the last prior uptrend, it's basically done nothing in 36 days. Just kind of stayed even. So here's the thing: I would watch this one. I probably wouldn't buy it right now. Let's look at the checklist. It's not a bad checklist. 67%. That's a pretty good checklist, actually. So here's what I would do. If I was down more than 7% on this one, I'd probably sell it, just because this one could go lower, because the trend currently for Roblox is down. But this may give us an opportunity to enter it. I'm kind of neutral on this one. It's in an area, computer software gaming, which was a performing area, but right now it's in the bottom quartile of the market. It's 181 out of 197 in terms of where it's in the market. So institutional investment is moving away from this issue right now. It may move back in, but right now it's moving away. Now, on the fundamental side, it does have some very good sales. The sales have been moving up, but this last quarter, and this is really kind of where the problem started, they had a slowdown in their profitability. So typically, you want to be looking at stocks and growth stocks that are where sales are moving up at least 20% a quarter. That's definitely the case with Roblox. The problem is, though, they had a stumble on their profitability last quarter, and that's been hurting them. So right now, if I was in the stock, I would probably, if I was down more than 7%, I would be selling. Possibly put this on the watch list, but I wouldn't be a buyer of this right now. So that's just kind of the long and the short of it. All right, let's take a look at AMD. AMD, of course, is in the chip space. AMD is, of course, along with NVIDIA, these are the two best stocks in the area. But here's the thing: it's been pulling back, it's been testing, and we will see where it goes. But my guess is that we still don't want to do anything yet here. It does have a little bit of a bounce in the after hours. It's up to 146. It looks like it has stopped right at the 21-day moving average, and the fact that it may get strength there. That possibly is an entry point. Now, here's the thing. This is not a primary entry point. This is what they call a secondary entry point. Not nearly as good as a primary entry point. But the bounce off the 21-day line, that's not necessarily a bad place to get in. But the true buy point for this, out of the double bottom base, 114.49, and that was back basically about 51 days ago. So it went all the way up, and it didn't give it all back, but this may be a place to get in, but you've got to be careful when you get in here, because you're extended somewhat. So but in general, I think that you definitely can make a move on this one. This has a 100% checklist, and I want to reiterate that. This is one of the best stocks in the market right now. It's in the number one category in the market. So this is one that, on strength, you can buy this on strength. So AMD is definitely in the running. It definitely in the running. If you don't own this one, this is one. I'm trying to get my pen to work here. This is one that you might want to consider because it is powerful. This is not a bad place to buy it. Now, here's the thing: if you buy it here, put a stop loss in 7% down from when you buy it because we still haven't gotten support on this. This is extended. This is not a proper buy point. So I'm going to be very clear about that on AMD. But AMD is a superior stock, and we don't have a whole lot of earnings. So I don't think. Let's see. Next earnings are basically in January 26th. And let's look at the fundamentals on this one because I always like to check that. The fundamentals are just stellar on AMD, and it's gone up more than 20% sales growth every quarter, and that's been going on for a while. So this is a thoroughbred. This is one that you might want to look at. This is a good one to have in the portfolio. I will probably be adding this to the portfolio for the small portfolio that I show every now and again. I probably will be adding AMD. I don't have it in portfolio yet. Probably, typically I don't like to buy at these alternate buy points, but with the case of AMD, the fact that it's in the number one category, it's got a 100% checklist, and it is incredibly profitable, those are all check marks in favor of it. So this is definitely buyable. And I just, it's the kind of thing where it's not the ideal buy point, but if you wait for the ideal buy point on these things, sometimes you never get it. So this is a good place to buy AMD. So tomorrow, if volume is light, this is one you might want to pick up. I do recommend this is a good stock and definitely worth your time. Looking at it. So thanks for that suggestion. Appreciate it. Okay, so next one. Hi, Jim. Would you? Well, thanks, Harris. I appreciate that. I do think, and maybe this is just me. Maybe this is just me, but and you say you never should say on anything. You should never say on anything. You should never say on anything, yes, this time is different. Okay, never say that. Never say that because it invariably never is. But and here's the but. ... Tesla is one of those companies that I think that comes along kind of once in a blue moon. I've seen very few of these in my lifetime, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that Apple was one of these companies, especially. I think Apple was one of these companies. I think that, I'm just trying to think of. There's just so few of these. Google, definitely. And I did make the mistake of I had Google way back when it IPO'd, if you could believe that. I sold it, which was a huge mistake that I don't want to repeat because I'm getting long in the tooth here, man. I also can remember sitting around talking with my friends saying, man, I should buy this stock. It's this new stock. It's called Microsoft. This is back in 1986, long time ago. And I was saying, well, yeah, it's on all these IBM PCs. It's really great, but I don't know. And of course I didn't buy it. Coulda, woulda, shoulda it is what happens, unfortunately. But Tesla is one of those stocks. I think it's going to be. Right now, Apple is a $3 trillion company. I think Tesla could be a $10 trillion company. You say, Jim, how is that possible that any company could be worth that much? Well, automobiles are the number one consumer product, period. 2, the world is changing. In 10 to 15 years, many of the cars that we drive are going to be electric. It's just a fact. I mean, we can say that we don't want to believe that. We can say that we can say that it won't happen. It won't happen but I think it will. So And I do believe when there's this changeover, I think that some of the legacy automobile makers, something, companies like GM, are very, very vulnerable. But one thing I do think is I think Tesla this year is going to just jam with their units. They're going to sell a lot of units. And here's the thing: Tesla doesn't have to advertise because all of their cars are sold up through September. They've got a full order book. Nobody else has that in this industry. So, yeah, I think I wouldn't go all in, but I would start. I would start building a position. I would definitely start building a position in Tesla. I think this is a good place to buy it. I think it's based for about a year, and I think it's just a good time to buy it. I just think it's a good time to buy it. I'm trying to, I'm swallowing hard and I'm saying, God, do I want to commit any more money to Tesla? And I'm like, yeah, probably. So that's a really, really good question, Harris. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, everybody talks about being a game changer. I think Tesla really is a game changer. There's not many of them out there like that. So, in short, yeah, I would say I would try to increase my position in Tesla right now. I really think that's the way to go. Let's take a quick from TikTok. Thank you everybody so much. Should I put $100,000 in Shiba? Well, I can tell you what to do. I probably wouldn't put 100,000 in Shiba, but I think Ethereum might be a good way to go. Now you probably are going to multiply it a lot more in Shiba, but I think that you need to allocate. I don't think you should put everything in 100% in, but I think this is a good way to go. I think that's a good way to go. And but I wouldn't put 100,000 in it. Here's the thing: here's the thing. If you have 100,000 and you want to put it in long term, you want to put it in crypto. Here's what I would do: I would take half the money and I'd put it into Tesla stock. Okay, because I do think that is good, is a little bit higher probability. And then I would take the rest and probably invest it in crypto. But I probably would do a number of crypto plays. And in the new year, I'm going to try to start focusing a lot more on crypto than I have been in the past. So that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. All right, you put 500K. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, exchange your viewers. And find more. Okay, I'm going to find out more about that. I'm going to find more about that. That's very interesting. Okay, let's look at SoFi, and that was also a question from Kiru. Let's take a look at SoFi, SOFI, and of course um, this is one of the software plays that is in the credit rating business, which I think has a lot of potential, of course, in this area. So let's kind of look at it. I'm not in this currently. Let's start with a weekly chart. We have a downward trend. I've drawn a trend line here with a breakout. We're in a downward trend on this. We have a relative strength of 56. We do have some nice sales increases, which I definitely like. We're looking at the fundamentals here, but we're still losing money, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I also think let's take a look at the checklist. Checklist is fairly weak, 56. Don't really like that. Let's look at some of the technicals on it. It's up today 11%, which is incredible, and it's 7% on the week. But monthly it's down, quarterly it's down. Year to date it's up 17%. That's about the production that you're getting off of. I think if you bought the QQQs, you would have probably done better than to buy SoFi. So these are issues that I'm looking at. I'm not really seeing I'm not seeing as much love as I'd like to see on this. So I don't necessarily think this is a good entry point. Yeah, this is not. We're trading below that 200-day line. This is just not a good place to buy a stock. Is when it is below that 200-day line. It's one of those things you got to just absolutely be, and I'm very, very, very careful about this because if you buy below that 200-day line, that's this black line here, the chances are you're not going to be successful. So my take on that is really, basically just, I just think, not a buy for now. So it's not that it's never going to be a buy, but I just think that there's just you got to right now we got to wait for the best merchandise. We're coming into the new year, and I just think we have to be very careful about what we're buying. This is not on my buy list based on that, and I just think you got to be careful. But I appreciate very much the comment. And hello, by the way, um, to to everybody. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, I meant to say Sofi options. Oh, options this morning, but not taking profits on my Chewy calls. Totally forgot. Yeah, I know. I know. Well, good for you on the Chewy calls. That was a good play, by the way. Um, I have yeah, that was a good play. Okay, let's look at this one. PFE. I like to chart to get calls for January and February. PFE. Let's look at PFE. Okay, great. Thank you for that. PFE. Looking at some calls. Pfizer. Yeah, if this, Omicron works in here, yeah, it's got a 100% checklist. Yeah, that's looking good. Let me just kind of look at the some of the options activity. Wow, look at that. We've got a lot of open interest. We've got a ton of open interest on we've got a ton of open interest on some of the weekly expirations in February. So yeah, okay, okay. Um, yeah, this might be a good one. I'd probably go out. I'd probably go for the Februarys rather than the Januarys. I'd probably go with the Februarys on this one. But I think that's very interesting. Yeah, I definitely think that there's some stuff. So I'm gonna put that down. PFE, of course, that's Fizzy, Pfizer. Everybody knows that one. My pens aren't working. Why aren't they working? Yeah, PFE, PFE. That's what I need for Christmas is some new pens. Um, PFE calls, and I'm gonna put Feb on that. Okay, great. But that's interesting. Yes, thank you for that. That is a good call. Okay, let's take a look at Apple and see if there's anything that we can see there. It's just Apple has been stellar this year, by the way. I kind of want to just kind of show you, and this was made apparent to me. Look at this chart. Look at this chart. It is just, I mean, it's just amazing. About the only time it really pulled back was back here in 2000, and it just, I mean, it did base for a long time, and it's just gotten through a basing period. So right now, it's not necessarily a bad time for Apple. I'm amazed. We do have a little bit of a congestion up here at about 182. As you can see, there's a little bit of there's a little bit of pressure there. That pivot there. There's a pivot there. It actually isn't showing up on my pattern rack, but this is definitely a potential buy point here. So 93 relative strength. Let's look at the checklist. Checklist on this is 100%. So, boy, we are looking at a place where we could possibly start again buying some more Apple, if you can believe that. Technically, this is looking very good. Let's look at some pattern recognition on this one. Yeah, we're up 18% from pivot in 30 days. That's very good. That's very good. The pivot's right here, 153.16. We're currently at 178, so that's looking pretty darn good. That's looking pretty darn good. And I think I definitely think that Apple is viable at this point. I definitely think I think that Apple is viable at this level. So if you're not in Apple, I mean, this might be a good opportunity. That's not a buy for now. No, it definitely is a buy for now. For some reason, I didn't get the right one. Hold on, let me get the right banner here. Oh goodness, I guess I did the wrong thing. So Apple, yeah, it definitely is viable at this level. There's no question. Save that and show it. Yeah, definitely viable at this level. Apple is definitely viable at this level. So I definitely think if you wanted to start building a position in Apple, very good time, because this chart looks very good. It's come right through this consolidation. I'd obviously, like to see it move above 180. It's got a little bit of a pressure here. I've got a little bit of a pivot. The pivot is right at about 180, but boy, once it pulls through that, I think it's going to likely move higher based on this chart. So I think this is looking very, very good, and I definitely think you could buy at this level. So very, very good chart on that. All right, let's just get a few more questions. All right, what about thoughts on TQQQQQ? Which ones do you assess? Well, here's the thing about I really only suggest the TQQQ at this point, and the reason is, I mean the QQQ. The reason I don't recommend the TQQQ, it can get a little bit volatile. Now, and my keyboard can get a little bit QQQ. Come on, there we go. Golly, I don't know why slow today on the internet. Just don't know what the deal is. Anyways, so basically on the QQQ, we're coming up to this buy. There is a pivot at 408. It's currently at 400. And technically, because we're in a confirmed uptrend, technically, we probably should be moving back into the QQQ right now. I would not recommend the TQQQ because of the volatility. So that's really my take on this one. We've kind of been in this consolidation range from about 378 up to 408 on the QQQ, and in this area, it's definitely towards the top of the range. I'd kind of like to see the QQQ move above 408 before I would consider buying it, only because that's where the pivot is. But I think you definitely can move back into the Qs. Now with the TQQQ, I don't particularly like that at this time due to the leverage nature of it. It's true that you can do well, but we're not in a strong uptrend. We're in a relatively weak uptrend right now, even though we are in a confirmed uptrend. So, that said, I think you want to go primarily with the QQQ. All right, U.S. Steel, take a look, please. Your thoughts. Thank you very much. King of Cool 54. I like that, King of Cool 54. Let's look at X. And there we go. U.S. Steel. Wow. You know what? I would not be a buyer of U.S. Steel. I'm sorry to tell you this. Oh, I'm so sorry to tell you this. Currently, U.S. Steel is trading below the 200-day moving average. I don't want to do that. You don't want to buy a stock if you're starting out. You don't want to buy it below that 200-day moving average. Currently, the 200-day moving average is about 24, and the price on this is 23. Now, it did move up a little bit today, but right now, I just think U.S. Steel, even if you want to be in the resource area, is not the one. I don't think you want to be in this one. Let's take a look at this area, because if you want to be in a steel stock, and I can see the steel producers as being, something that you might be interested in, I wouldn't be in U.S. Steel, because unfortunately U.S. Steel is not the company that it was when J.P. Morgan created it. Okay, it's just a different company, unfortunately. I mean, I wish it was, because it was such a great company, and but it's not your grandfather's U.S. Steel anymore. It just really isn't. So let's kind of look at that group, that steel producers group, and I'm just going to put that up on the screen here, and let's take a look at it and see. The group in general is doing fairly well. It's just U.S. Steel that I'm concerned about. The best company right now is MT, which is ArcelorMittal. That's the biggest stock. But I think Nucor is the one that you want to be zeroed in on if you're interested in the steel business, because it's better than X. It's better than U.S. Steel. So that's the one I think you really want to look at. It's just a stronger stock. It's got a 100% checklist. So even though U.S. Steel has a great name, I think the company you want to look at right now is NUE, which is Nucor. It is an American company, and it has 100% checklist. This is the better of the. This is the better stock um, than U.S. Steel. It's trading above the 200-day moving average, which is very good. And the steel producers in general are doing quite well. They're 66 out of 197, which is very, very good. But I don't think you want to buy U.S. Steel. The one you want to buy, I believe, is Nucor, N-U-E. But I really appreciate that question. That's a great question. Um, and thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Okay, let's take a look. Hi, Jim. Is there a hope for LC in 2022? Let's look. Let's look at LC. All right. That is Linden Club. Of course, everybody that is not familiar with Linden Club, I'm going to take that one down. Yeah. That, oops. Yeah, that's not what I want to show either. Okay, there we go. So, Linden Club. Let's do that. Yeah, there we go. So I'm looking at Linden Club here. Let's kind of look at the whole. Let's kind of look at the whole chart. All right. Here's the problem with Linden Club. Right now, it's in this downward trend, and this is the reason why you have the 7% rule. 7% rule is basically if you buy something and you're down more than 7%, really consider selling it, because once you get on 7% down, it gets much harder to regain your footing. So if you're down more than 7%, consider selling it. Right now, we may see Linden Club get a bounce at the 200-day line. That would be a logical place for it to get a bounce. But I'm not sure that's going to be the case here, unfortunately. It's kind of a relatively good checklist, 78, not bad. But, it's just not really looking good technically. It's up today, but it's down 3% off the week. Month is down 26%. Quarterly, it's down 14%. Year to date, though, it's up 127%. I would just say, look, I know this is hard, especially at the end of the year, but it's easier at the end of the year than it is at any other time. If you are in a situation where you're down more than 7%, really consider cutting your losses, and especially at the end of the year, because it's great. You want to start the new year fresh with the best positions that you can. So if you're down more than 7%, truly consider. Let's see. If you're down more than 7%, truly consider selling. Really do, because this one may come back. It may bounce at that 200-day line, but it may not. So I just would be prudent, and I would just say, no, I'm probably going to just, I just pack it in, and, it's just packing in. All right, let's look at NEO. Let's see what happened to NEO, because the auto stocks are interesting to me. We did have a dead cat bounce on today. Look at that. NEO has been in this downward trend, as you can tell. There you go. Oops. NEO has been in this down. Come on. I'm a little bit slow on that bandwidth. There we go. NEO has been in this downward trend, and what happened was, it finally bounced and it went to the 20-day line. That's a dead cat bounce there, folks. This is your head. This is your right shoulder, and this is, I would say this is sort of the left shoulder. So basically what's happening here is this is a shorting. I don't know if this is going to totally collapse, because it's not that expensive stock, but I don't think this is looking good. So, this may be a sign to short the stock. I don't know. Probably not going to do anything on it yet. By the way, talking about shorting, I want to jump on over to Peloton and see how that's doing. This is the one that I've been kind of debating on. Should I or shouldn't I short the thing? Because I do think this is a dog. I didn't short it, and I probably was a good idea not to. Just buying there. You see, it's gotten too low. This is the issue here with Peloton. But I'm looking for, I'm still on the bear train. I'm still looking for stuff to short, and that's definitely, it's definitely what I'm looking to do. Okay, all right. Let's talk through Roman. Thank you very much. Let's look at Freeport background, FCX. Okay, Freeport back around. Right a buy point. 4160 is the buy point for Freeport. Looking pretty good. If you want to be in the resource stocks, this is the one. This is one of the ones. This is the one of the largest copper miners in the world. Now, here's the thing: we're going to have a commodities boom, everybody. We've got a lot of inflation in the market, as everyone's telling you, and says, what happens when there's a lot of inflation? Well, one of the things that's happened based on the past is that certain resources tend to get bid up, and because of electric cars and a lot of that stuff, the amount of copper that's required is a lot. So that is going to be an area that is probably going to do pretty well in the future. Now, obviously, the miners are an area that you can play that. The checklist on Freeport is excellent, by the way. It's 89%. The only thing it's missing is in earnings per share, which I do think will fluctuate depending on the price of the underlying minerals. Now, one of the things that I want to show you about Freeport background and the industry in general, I think I can just pop that off there for a sec. Okay, let's go over here to that. Right, well, there we go. Okay, so let's take a look at the fundamentals on Freeport. It's moving up very nicely, and the last 3 quarters it's had over 20% growth per quarter. That's something I'm looking for. Look at the profits that are moving up here as well. This has been a winning stock, and I think it's likely to be a winner in the future, in the near future. We're right at a buy point. This is at 4160. This is a good stock to take a look at right now. This is a definitely good stock to take a look at it. We're probably going to make a new high off a cup and handle. No guarantees here, but we're above that 200-day line. We're above the 40-day line. We're above the 21-day, and we're above the 10-day line. So this is lined up. This is like lining up. This is the constellations. This is the constellations lining up here. This is probably going to go up, my guess, based on this chart. It's looking pretty darn good. So here's the thing I would say for Freeport background. I think that you're in a good place to buy it. Don't sell this bad boy if you've got it. I think it's going higher, and I think it could be a very good stock in 2022. All right. Bitcoin. Let's go out and take a look at. Let's do Baramara. Okay. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Let me just go out and bring that up. So I got to go out to the web here. That's the reason I have to kind of switch gears here. So let's do that. All right, BTC price. There we go. All right. So maybe I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you can see it. There. Okay. So the question is, what is happening with Bitcoin? That's the key. What is happening with Bitcoin? So let's bring up the Bitcoin chart. And as you can see on the day, we started out, we went up and we came down. So, but one day does not make this. This is the chart that we got to be looking at, the monthly chart, going from about 58,000 Bitcoin down to 46. Now, I do think that there is some support at 40, but I want to kind of look at this. I think the real support is right about 30. Believe it or not, I think it's about 30,000. So right now we're kind of going both ways. There's been a lot of pressure on Bitcoin right now. The Turkish government wants to get rid of it because all their citizens are buying it. I think right now is not necessarily a good time to be buying it. Let's wait to see if we get some support at 30,000. If we do, then possibly we can come back in. Then we can possibly come back in. But right now, I think we've got to take a kind of a really wait see. We got to take a real wait see on it. So let's go. I'm going to go back over to the I'm gonna go back over to the GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which kind of will give us an idea here. GBTC. Now the GBTC controls 4% of the world's Bitcoin, which is a significant amount. It's an ETF that can be traded, in an IRA or something like that. By the way, I'm gonna talk to everybody about a strategy of trading Bitcoin in an IRA, which will make the problems that you possibly have from capital gains at least be somewhat 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 under control. So I'm going to be coming out with that in the next year, but I haven't put it all together. But it's a it's a crypto trading strategy in IRAs that will allow you to avoid, at least temporarily, some of the capital gains taxes that are so detrimental to trading crypto. Anyways, let's take a look at the Grayscale Trust. The Grayscale Trust is below the 50-day line, which doesn't surprise me because obviously that is predicting, and that did predict, the pullback in the price of Bitcoin. So it's kind of interesting. I look at GBTC as a sort of a forecast for the direction. As you can see, I had a reversal line here. We moved above the reversal line, but now we're trending back. I put another reversal line in here, and it looks as if we are still trending below that. So we have not gotten a signal yet to come back into Bitcoin. I believe it's going to pull back maybe as low as 30,000 to 1. Don't know. But that's what it's showing to me, analyzing the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. When we get a signal on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, that may be time to possibly come back into Bitcoin. But right now, just not a good time to be buying it. You want to wait for it to pull back to about 30,000, then reverse, possibly higher. So that's kind of what we want to do. Let's look at DraftKings, DKNG. See what is up with DraftKings. Well, I wish I had better news. I wish I had better news on DraftKings, but DraftKings has just been doing a belly flop. It's got a relative strength of 7. We just got to see this thing bottom. I'm sure this thing will bottom eventually, but the daily chart is looking horrible. And, we've given up so much of the strength here. We're at the bottom. We should be, we're below the consolidation. So, boy, it's just not looking good for DraftKings right now. I think we got to hold on and wait possibly till it gets down to about 20. If it gets some support at 20, then we might be able to come back into this. The sales have been tremendous. And here's the thing. The sales have been tremendous. The fundamentals are great on. This is why you always can't. You got to look at the technicals and the fundamentals, because the fundamentals have been great on DraftKings. As you can see, look at these sales; they're just going right up. The profits not so much, but the stock just is not looking good. And so hopefully we're going to get some support at 20, but just can't do anything really with DraftKings right now. Unfortunately, I wish we could. Man, that would be much better. Much better. All right. Well, we're almost to the end here. I haven't quite gone an hour, but and thank you very much, Mark. Happy New Year to everyone too. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you are so inclined, you can definitely get on the free action trade alerts. Super easy. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and you'll get right on it. Right on that. And we're hopefully going to have some good stuff. I have a kind of a good trade that you might like. This is a credit spread on Facebook that I'm going to try to put out probably tonight or tomorrow. I don't know, depending on how much sleep I get tonight. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. Get it out there to everybody, and that's a good one. And also, I'm going to probably put out a ready list for everybody. But you got to be on the Dallas. You got to be on the Dallas Trading Floor list to get that. This is free, by the way. And by the way, if you're interested in our excellent Discord room, it is available as well. This is a paid service, but it is also very good. We have a lot of very good traders that start out the day. with trade ideas and throughout the day. And so this is also a very good thing too, and it can be very beneficial. Well, everybody, thank you so much for taking a look at the show. If you're looking on TikTok, you can see the show directly in its entirety. Just go to this address right here, and that will give you the exact show that we're showing today. And then also consider going on the trade alerts, and that's easy to do. Just go to my profile, click on the link, first and last name, and you'll be right on the list. Oh, and email address, got to have that, and you'll be on the list. Well, everybody, happy New Year! So appreciate you being with me for this year. Next year it's going to be bigger and better. I have a feeling that, and I may be on tomorrow, but I have a feeling that next year is going to be a little bit easier to trade than this last year was. I have very high hopes for next year. I think there's going to be a lot of movement. I really think that Tesla may start to move once again, just based on a lot of things I'm seeing. And I think that we're going to have a very good 2022. So thank you everybody for taking a look at my show. Please like it, because I'm learning all this stuff from YouTube, but please like please like it, because I definitely need those likes to get it out there to a lot of people. So please like the please like it, and also do consider subscribing. It is free, and you can just do that by going to www.DallasTradingFloor or to youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor. So until probably tomorrow, I'll probably be back tomorrow, last day before the last trading day of the year. Everybody have a happy New Year, and I will see you again shortly.